Okay. Judge ready? Judges? No. I don't know who there are. Okay. So this round boils down to 3 main points. The first step of which is we have to talk about what is causing global warming. And 90% of scientists agree that it is in fact human caused. And then when I asked my friend if he could show me in that NASA study where it says that specifically the sun is causing global warming, he couldn't. So we have to look at the fact that it's human caused. And under that premise, we can go on to the second main point in this round, and that is this idea of solvency and moral obligation. My opponent said that we can't use this analogy, that's a false analogy, to compare it to cancer, but I think it's actually a pretty good analogy, because obviously we want to stop environmental damage, we also want to stop cancer, but we don't know how to do either. We have some ideas on both, but really nothing has been fully effective. So in that same regard, we have a moral obligation to stop cancer, but we can't solve it yet. So it doesn't matter. We also see that I actually showed a couple of examples of places where there are actually mitigating climate change, or they're mitigating the effects. And my opponents never actually attacked these either. So either way, we can see that we win this point. Now on to the third and most important point in this round, and that is suffering and death. And this is the main impact in the round. My opponent's only rebuttal to this is that we can adapt, but we really don't have enough time to adapt when we're seeing these huge effects happening in a very short amount of time. They don't tell us how we're going to adapt either, or how we're going to stop starvation. They just say, oh, we adapt. And that's just kind of a overarching statement to say about lots and lots of people who are already starving and dying of drought, and a bunch of effects or causes that I talked about in my case that my opponents kind of ignored. So under this idea, we can see that there's going to be all this suffering and death, and my opponents just say we're adapting, but there's no reason to believe we're going to adapt when we see these are such sudden impacts. And for this reason, we urge a pro ballot. Thank you.
Any questions?
He knows he lost.
Oh, shut up, Rocky. It's not even true.
It's true.
Oh, well, Alright, Judge ready? Opponents ready? Partner ready? Alright, I'm going to decline their 3 points and actually provide my own 3 points as to why, as to what the round boils down to. The first is the idea of solvency. This seems to be a big point in my opponent's argument, is like, they don't have to prove solvency. However, like, I've already told you that if we can't solve something, then there's no point in actually us trying to fix it. And as well, like, if we don't know how we're going to fix it, then we don't have an obligation to know, to fix it, like, to know why we're going to fix it. Like, we have to know how it's going to be done, or we have to have some idea of how it's going to be done, and we have to work on how it's going to be done. So, like, we actually have to have solvency to actually judge the round. The second idea is the idea of adaptation. And in my opponent's last speech, they talked about how I don't actually tell you how there's an adaptation thing. However, I did kind of bring this up. I guess she was ignoring me. I said that, like our technology is continuously growing, so we're going to have the ability to develop new technologies to fix the problem. We're going to be able to adapt to it. For example, we are constantly having new technology that allows us to help with crop yield. So, like, I mean, there is quite a significant ability for us to adapt. We've always done it in the past, so we'll be able to do it again. And the third idea, third point that the round boils down to is the idea of the NASA argument. Again, here they're just trying to make the argument that like 90% of scientists says this is true, so we should agree with them. However, like, they're not actually telling me where these 90% scientists are coming from. I highly doubt this is 90% of the scientists in the world. Like, I don't even foresee anybody going out and asking 90% of the scientists in the world. I brought this up in my last speech. This is a ridiculous argument that they're trying to make. So I'm going to prefer NASA simply on the basis that they know what they're talking about. They know the sun, they know space, they know what's going on. They're the ones who look at our atmosphere and would know what's actually going on. That's what my entire first contention in sub 1A is about. So I'm going to prefer NASA, and actually the NASA card does say, like, it's from humans. I read it in the case, or it's from the sun, I'm sorry. It says, like, it's coming from the sun, the 0.6-degree temperature is coming from the sun.
Alright.
Nice work. Do I film critique?
No, you don't have to film critique.
Well,
Goodbye!
goodbye. Oh, by the way, from left to right, the debaters are Vicky Justice, Daniel Temple, and Flora Deckert, and Georgia Brenner.
And Gab, you can't forget Gab.
Dr. Eggroll signing off.